Scott Dickerson, founder of Alaskan Viking Company, and I wanted to show you this latest creation I have here, which is a shelf and coat rack. It's got 5 hooks on it, so I was thinking it could be for an entryway or bathroom, hallway, but anyhow, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the process of making it. I know that there's a lot of people that are into making stuff that are watching these videos, and so I thought I would share some about my process and the materials used here. So I think the first thing is this panel of precast concrete salmon. It was made by Rob Wired, my neighbor, and the original salmon carving was done by a local artist, sculptor Brad Hughes. And Rob took the single carving and made this panel. They're poured concrete into a rubber mold, and it's very cool. He does a lot of different colors in it, and he has a lot of these panels, and I was inspired to start trying to figure out how to make some sort of functional art that they could be a part of. So this is my latest concept, and it was really inspired by first the fish, but then also some new material that I got, which is some steel tube. It's 3/4 by 1.5 inch. It's lightweight, 16 gauge, and it's I'm reclaiming it. It was heading for the landfill. It's shipping racks that were shipped to Alaska, transporting goods, and a local business was kind enough to let me have these racks and cut them up. You can see one of my other videos about demoing it. There's a lot of welds and scrap that makes it labor intensive, but it's satisfying. And it's a nice material, it's an interesting proportion, and it's lightweight. And I was thinking I could figure out a way to use it to support these salmon and make it somehow functional. So there's the steel tubing, and then the wood is from this chunk of cottonwood from Small Potatoes sawmill here in Homer. They mill and dry wood, and this is kiln dried, so it should be pretty stable. Interesting piece of cottonwood which grows locally, and had the nice live edge, a lot of character. So I had those two things, the steel tubing, the cottonwood, and then of course the fish panel. So I like to try and integrate some art into functionality, functional art, and that's my favorite thing. Something that is beautiful and inspiring that can be a part of our everyday life. So in this particular design, I was trying to figure out how simple could I make it. For 2 reasons. One is simplicity is always nice, I think, and also the labor in making something like this really can add up, and I would like to be able to create something similar or this exact design efficiently, and so I can keep the price down and more people can enjoy them. So I was thinking minimal. It's the minimum amount of framing for the sake of simplicity and also the sake of the time. So this was an idea. I'd seen something similar to this online that didn't have anything in here. It was just hollow, but it was a shelf basically and coat hooks. And so that's what I kind of went from that design. Figured I could support the salmon in there, and then I welded on these little, this is round steel, round stock steel. It's very inexpensive, easy to work with, and they're all welded on at an angle and sanded down. The salmon are held in to the corners. That's kind of probably the most fiddly part of this process, is securing the panel into the frame. Ends up taking about as much time as making the frame, it seems like. And then on the welds, on this, working with this thin tubing, I was trying to figure out, do I leave the welds exposed or sand them off? On this particular one, I sanded the welds off on the front and the corners to give it sort of a seamless, smooth look. And I left the welds on here, partially because I was developing my technique while I was doing this, figuring out how to work with this really lightweight tubing. I haven't worked with this lightweight of material very much, so that was a learning process. On the back, there's not much going on here. I drilled holes, 2-step holes here for a screw to hang the piece. Screw goes in and slides up in the notch. You probably can't see that exactly, but it's pretty common. kind of thing, and it's just drilled right into the frame, so makes that easy one step. And then the shelf is supported by a steel piece of flat bar with a single hole in it, which is plenty strong for this application. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's beautiful. The wood is really nice, has a lot of character, a lot of interest. It's live edge, it just gives it that sort of organic feel. The steel is blackened. I sanded it down and then treated it with the blackening patina, and then it's sealed after that, which is kind of tedious, a lot of steps, and it's winter here. So working with fluids and paints and sealers is kind of a hassle. My shop is not very well insulated at all, and it's single digits outside, so keeping things warm enough to dry. And then the patina process involves water, which is all the water around here is frozen. It's ice right now. So I'd say that's a good introduction to this piece. I haven't really figured out the amount of hours it takes and cost of materials yet, but it's going to be a little bit less than my other designs, and I'm going to marinate on it for a little while and see what I think. The wood and the frame is also treated with a finishing wax. It's applied with a rag and then buffed off. Gives it a really nice hand rubbed waxed feel, very smooth, and the highlighting is nice and natural. So I think that's about all I have to say about this thing. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Definitely learning as I go on some of these mixed material projects. There's a lot of room for efficiency gains, but it's really fun. It's enjoyable. These three materials together I really love: the concrete, steel, and wood. The wood is kind of warming and soft feeling, and the concrete is very clean and cool. The steel is very clean and cool feeling, smooth, and then the concrete is kind of to me it feels like it's in between the two. It has a cold, hard feel, but it's also got a lot of texture, especially this particular one has a lot of texture and colors. I like the blues. So there you have it. If you're interested in this exact piece, it's for sale, and I'd be happy to make a custom one for anybody. Otherwise, I'm going to keep making prototypes, and I'll keep you informed as it goes along.